So I have my whiteboard keeping me company and my blank gray wall. It's really uninspiring. So today I want to talk about some things. I got some more questions on it today. It's something that I get questions on and confused looks on a regular basis. Or when we're installing a new theme, when you buy a new domain name, when you have a problem with your hosting company, when you want something done with your email. All of these times are when you're going to need to know about your hosting account, your domain account, your DNS, your email, all these things that are so confusing, but I hope I can break it down. So let's begin. So the internet is this giant connection of computers, and we don't want your computer on there because it'll get hacked, and then everybody else can see your computer and the camera on it and all that stuff, and that would just be bad. So there's this internet full of all of these computers, and your computer's over here. So let's say you have a Word document and you want to show it to the world, like you drew this nice thing or whatever. Well, your computer isn't on the internet, so you can't just show it. You have to go out there and get it on that computer in this little web of internet computers called servers. You need to get your information out there. So there's a limited amount of those servers. And so what people do is kind of lease little bits of memory there. So you can buy a spot. You can rent a little spot online. That's your hosting account. Okay? The bigger spot you buy, the more it costs. Pretty logical, right? Now, because these spots are anywhere in the world, and we have I don't know how many languages, more than just English, so they are numerical. But nobody's going to remember that. And so they have top-level domains and more domains. So they have these names. But how are you going to make sure that your domain nobody else takes? Well, there's a registry. So that if I buy WP Barista, nobody else can buy it. For the right to reserve that name for myself, I license it. I don't own it forever. That wouldn't be fair-ish. They want it to be available out there. So I license that for a year, or you can do longer. And that is my domain name. So now you have these servers, which are the internet. You rent a little spot called your hosting. And now you have a nice address, WP Barista or My Fancy Blog, instead of a number. So now people can go and find it. So now what are you going to put on the server? So now on the server, you put your website. Now a website, we have our computers and we're used to putting a program on. It used to be from a CD or disc. Now it's from, you download them. I don't know. You download them or something. I don't know where we get our programs. We can't use our program, and we've also determined that we can't send our computer out there because that's too dangerous. So what we do is use a piece of software so that we don't have to write code. And what we use is WordPress. So WordPress has built this interface where me, as a non-coder, can type up some fun stuff and put some pictures in there. And then WordPress takes that and puts it where I want it to go on the screen that is now online and visible to a number of computers in a number of different shapes and sizes and different languages and all of that. Oh, and DNS. So DNS is a very important piece, and this is the glue that holds it all together. It's domain name service. What you do is that has that number that you want, and it also has, so when somebody goes to that number, it sees this file that has a list of, okay, what is this actually called? Oh, okay, it's called My Pretty Blog. And then it also has, if something else goes to that number, like an email address, it has, okay, where to send that and where to send this and how to deal with that. So in that one file, I can have your email over here in GoDaddy, and I can have your domain over there, and I can have your hosting over there. but it's all in this one little file on DNS. Now, some of these are combined, like you can get a domain and hosting and DNS all on one little package, and you will never know the difference. GoDaddy, I think, does them all together. HostGator, it used to be really common. People didn't even tell you that they were different. You bought the hosting and you got the domain name, or vice versa. So, they're very different. And so when your designer asks you for your registrar or your domain name company, she's asking for the DNS so she can see what's pointing where, so she can tell where to put your website. Like, what is the word and what's the number behind it for where it needs to be. And same with email, because she doesn't want to change something and break your email if she's moving hosting for you. The other thing is your hosting company. We need to know what that is and what the logins are so that we can log into your hosting company, and in there they'll tell us where your website is, under what number it is usually, and then with the user and password. So we can't go on Chrome or Internet Explorer and toddle over to a website, My Pretty Blog, and just start putting stuff in there. Like, can you imagine how insecure that is? That would be, anybody could do that then, right? With a little password or something. What we do is we go through a different protocol, not through Internet Explorer, not through Chrome, not through a browser. We use something called FTP. It's totally different. Instead of HTTP, it's FTP. Very clever, hey? And we put your stuff up. We put your theme, your WordPress, everything up there, but it's still going to the same place. It's still the same server over there to keep you safe, and it's all very My Pretty Blog instead of numbers. So see, it's very simple. I hope. Very simple. And now leave them below. I will answer them. Have a good evening.